Since I started comparing the game mode on the Q90R against other TVs, I think a number of Q90R owners have said that the game mode on their Q90Rs are not as bad as what I've shown in my videos. And some of them even suggested that I may have been using the wrong settings. Well, I used to be a professional calibrator, so I don't think I'll be using the wrong settings, but let's go through the settings that I've been using and then compare against the Q90T I have here as well. So the Q90R is the display on your left and the Q90T is the display on your right. And I think it will be a bit blown out, so I'll have to adjust the exposure. So you can see that both of them are in game mode, and then I'm only using one remote control to control both Samsung TV, so it's not going to be easy, but I'll try. And if we go into external device manager, you can see that game enhancer is off. I've calibrated both on and off anyway, but it's off for this moment. And then dynamic black equalizer would be increasing the mid-tone gamma, well, brightening the mid-tone gamma, and I will leave it at 0 because it tracks the PQ UTF the most accurately. And then game motion plus, it doesn't really matter in terms of the local dimming, but I'll switch it off just for this comparison video. So if I can start using the correct exposure, you can see that the Q90R is a bit too bright because to my eyes the blacks are not really black, the local dimming is just not working at all, and also the blacks take on a really gray and blue tint because again, if the local dimming is not working correctly and Samsung is trying to cut down input lag in game mode, the color correction isn't working at all, so you get this really cool dark gray rather than proper black. Now I'm going to try and switch to another movie, if you can just bear with me for a while. In fact, before I do that, I'll lower the shutter speed and aperture so that I'll adjust the aperture and exposure so that the image doesn't look blown out on screen. Hold on a second. So I've put on the movie Pan, and I think we'll focus on this fairly dark scene here. Again, my exposure is all wrong from my camera, but what I wanted to show you is that it is still in game mode, and some of you actually suggested that perhaps it wasn't engaging HDR properly, so I need to go into YouTube. So let's try and do that. If I can, you can see that I have inverse color on because I don't really like the really bright menu of Samsung TVs, in fact. Right, so if we go to YouTube, play something, right, and then get out, right, and then now I'll start lowering the shutter speed and aperture so that you can see what's going on here. Okay, so what you're seeing on camera is what I'm seeing with my eyes. Basically, the Q90R is not using its local dimming correctly, even though it has 240 zones on this 55-inch model. But in game mode, because Samsung has to cut down the amount of video processing, the amount of video, how should I put it, local dimming to lower the input lag, it is basically not really working as well as the Q90T. So you can see that there's a really blue haze across the entire image on the Q90R, and just a generic lack of definition and increase in blooming, because again there's barely any functional local dimming in game mode. And the thing with all these Q90R owners who claim that the game mode on their TVs do not look as bad as this, I think it is because they don't really have another display to compare with. So in my line of work, I can compare the Q90R against OLED, against the next generation, the next year's model, which is the Q90T, its successor. So I can see why, the local dimming isn't working on the Q90R. But I think these owners, to put it another way, I think everyone thinks they have the prettiest wife at home. But until she stands beside Gal Gadot, you'll never know that, she's not the prettiest wife. So I think that's what's happening. I think, we have to accept that the local dimming in game mode on the Q90R is really bogged and neutered, and the game mode on the Q90T is significantly superior in terms of the local dimming effectiveness. Thank you.